Welcome back to our EDUC201 subject. So we are now in the 7th module and our topic for today will be about the exceptionalities in the classroom and the referral process. So let's discuss first kung ano nga ba yung mga exceptionalities na tinatawag natin. So this is the term used to refer to learners who require special education and relevant services to fully benefit from education and for them to reach their own full human potential. In other words, ito yung mga estudyante na may special needs. It is also used to identify patterns of strengths and needs common to groups of students. So ano naman yung tinatawag na special education? This is needed when learner is unable to make satisfactory progress without special services. This is also a specially designed instruction that meets the unusual needs of an exceptional student. So ano naman yung mga exceptional children or yung exceptional students na tinatawag? This is an inclusive term that refers to children na may learning and or behavior problems, with physical disabilities or kaya naman sensory impairments, and who are intellectually gifted or specially talented. They also have characteristics that deviate from the considered normal physical and mental abilities. According to the Education Act of Canada, an exceptional pupil is one whose behavioral, communicational, intellectual, physical, or multiple exceptionalities are such that he is considered to need placement in a special education program. Pwedeng siya ay sobrang advanced ang mental ability na kinakailangan siyang i-accelerate sa school level or grade level na tinatawag in order to cater to his learning needs. Or kaya naman ay medyo delayed na kailangan mag-employ ng special methodologies to help him cope up with the lessons. Now, ano ba yung mga challenges in defining exceptionalities? Una, there is no single, consistent, and universally accepted method for describing the different kinds of children. Wala daw ultimate standard para ma-describe natin ang iba't ibang klase ng mga bata. Pangalawa, many disciplines contribute to research and intervention, meaning each discipline tends to employ its own terminology and definitions. And lastly, there is a considerable overlap among exceptional conditions. Karamihan ng mga bata na exceptional ay merong more than one disabling condition. So, pwedeng hindi lang isa, pwedeng madami. We have 5 terms to be distinguished from the concept of exceptionality. We have impairment, disability, handicap, at risk, and developmental delays. So, punta muna tayo kay impairment. So, this is the loss or reduced function of particular body part or organ. Halimbawa, na-amputate yung kanyang kamay, yung kanyang arm, leg, foot. That can be classified as an impairment. Second, we have disability. This exists when impairment limits one's ability to perform certain tasks in the same way most people do. Third, we have handicap. This is a problem or disadvantage that a person with disability or impairment encounters when interacting with the environment. This term commonly conjures negative images. Kumbaga, pag sinabi mong handicap, ay may negative connotation yan. May negative na pumapasok sa utak ng isang tao kapag naririnig yan. Fourth, we have at risk. These are children not currently identified as having a disability but has greater than usual chance of developing one. This is also used for students experiencing learning problems in regular classrooms. Kumbaga, parang they are at risk kasi for school failure. And lastly, we have developmental delays. This occurs when the child doesn't reach developmental milestones at expected times. At meron ding ongoing major or minor delays sa kanyang developmental process. Also, these delays can have many different causes. Madami daw pwedeng factors na mag-cause nito. Halimbawa, genetics, pregnancy complications. However, kadalasan the specific cause is unknown. Now let's move on to the categories of exceptionalities. We also have 5. Meron tayong behavior, communication, intellectual, physical, and multiple exceptionalities. So first, we have behavior. Ito ay learning disorder characterized by specific behavior problems over a period of time and to such a marked degree and of such a nature as to adversely affect educational performance. It may also be accompanied by one or more of the following. Una, inability to build or maintain interpersonal relationships. Inability to learn that can't be traced to intellectual, sensory, or other health factors. Excessive fears or anxieties. And tendency to compulsive reaction. Pangalawa, we have communication. Under communication, we have 4. Meron tayong autism, deaf and hard of hearing, language impairment, and learning disability. So first, we have autism. This is a severe learning disorder that is characterized by disturbances in the rate of educational development, ability to relate to environment, mobility, perception, speech and language, and lack of representational symbolic behavior that precedes language. Letter B, we have deaf and hard of hearing. This is characterized naman by deficits in language and speech development because of diminished or non-existent auditory response to sound. Letter C, we have language impairment. This is the impairment in comprehension and or use of verbal communication or written or other symbol system of communication. This may be associated with neurological, psychological, physical, or sensory factors. And for letter D, we have learning disability. So this is evident in both academic and social situations in the sense na ang individual is observed to be quite different from other people. Pwedeng in terms of academic situations, medyo challenging sa kanya yung comprehension of certain lessons. Like, kailangan talagang matutukan siya in order for him or her to catch up with the class. While in terms of social situations naman, pwedeng he or she tends to display awkwardness that is medyo out of the ordinary. Kumbaga, yes, we all display awkwardness from time to time at some point. But if it happens consistently and parang hindi siya nag-i-improve even as time goes by, posibleng characteristic na ito ng learning disability. For our third category naman, we have intellectual. Under this, meron tayong 3. Meron tayong giftedness, mild intellectual disability, and developmental disability. So, giftedness is an unusually advanced degree of general intellectual ability. Kumbaga halimbawa, pwedeng bata pa lang siya pero napakagaling na niyang mag-paint. He or she displays an unusually advanced degree of artistic skill or pwede din namang cognitive skill. It depends. Second, we have the mild intellectual disability. This is characterized by an ability to profit educationally within a regular class with aid of considerable curriculum modification and supportive service. Kumbaga, ito ay medyo kailangan lang ng extra support but he or she can cope up naman kapag nakakapag-tutor or nakakapag-remedial class. And last, we have developmental disability. So this is a severe learning disorder characterized by an inability to profit from the SPED program because of slow intellectual development. So this SPED program is for students with mild intellectual disability. Kumbaga, medyo tweak niya yung regular curriculum in order to cater to the needs of those with mild intellectual disability. However, kung hindi pa rin siya maka-cope up with the class or kung hindi pa rin siya makasabay, ibig sabihin, this is already classified as developmental disability. As mentioned na natin kanina, mas malala ito generally kesa dun sa mild intellectual disability. Now, we have the fourth category which is physical. Sa ilalim nito, meron tayong physical disability and blind and low vision. Pag sinabi nating physical disability, ito ay condition of such severe physical limitation or deficiency. For blind and low vision naman, this is a condition of partial or total impairment of sight or vision that even with correction affects educational performance adversely. And now we're down to the fifth category of exceptionality, which is the multiple exceptionalities. Ito naman ay combination ng learning or other disorders, impairments, or physical disabilities. Kumbaga, pwedeng may kombinasyon siya ng iba't ibang disabilities or impairments na na-discuss natin a while ago. Now, punta naman tayo sa teaching strategies. For this, meron tayong tinatawag na Individual Education Plan or yung IEPS. This is a written plan provided for pupils identified as exceptional and is developed when a student is found to need special education services. It is also a working document that describes the strengths and needs ng mga exceptional students, the SPED program, and the services established to meet a student's needs. Nagpro-provide din ito ng adaptive instruction through a modified learning environment to accommodate unique learning characteristics. In addition to this, meron tayong mga general strategies in teaching exceptional students. Ito yung mga dapat nating i-keep in mind when we are dealing with students or children that have unique learning characteristics. Una, be aware that SPED students may not be singled out for any special treatment. Pangalawa, ensure that your attitude and responses to them are identical to those to other students. Kailangan kasi i-view natin lahat ng estudyante as contributing students. Lahat sila ay nakaka-contribute sa learning experience in the classroom. That is what we have to make them feel. Third, consider learning over a long period of time. SPED students may need extended periods of time to learn, so don't fall into the trap of focusing on weaknesses. Be aware then of their strengths. Fourth, help students understand that grading, evaluation, and assessment is based on identifiable objectives in accordance with individual potential. Evaluation shouldn't be coupled with limitations of students, but rather to their expectations. Fifth, provide significant opportunities for students of all abilities to learn from each other. Structure a variety of learning activities in which classroom social climate is both promoted and enhanced. It is very important, again, na lahat ng estudyante natin or lahat ng children feels like he or she is contributing positively. And last but not the least, make use of technology and digital media to reduce barriers to learning, enhance instruction, and provide additional methods for students with disabilities to demonstrate knowledge and skills. We will also be discussing 3 types of intervention in special education. Kung halimbawa may na-observe tayong mga students that are at risk or kaya naman ay nag-exhibit ng exceptional behaviors or traits, ito yung mga pwede nating i-employ na interventions in order to prevent or address these exceptionalities. Una, we have preventive. Second, we have remedial or yung remediation. And third, we have compensatory. So what is preventive intervention? This is designed to keep potential or minor problems from becoming a disability. From the word itself, preventive, ito yung hindi pa masyadong malala. Pwede pang gamutin kung ihahalin tulad natin sa sickness or sa sakit. It also includes actions that stop an event from happening and those that reduce a problem or condition na has already been identified. Second, we have remedial intervention or yung remediation na tinatawag. Actually, the term remediation is primarily an education term. Ang mas common kasi na ginagamit ng social service agencies is the term rehabilitation. Ito naman ay nag-a-attempt to eliminate specific effects of a disability. Ang nabanggit natin kaninang remediation and rehabilitation ay may common purpose. This is to teach the person with disabilities skills for independent and successful functioning. This is based on the underlying assumption na ang person with disability ay kailangan ng special instruction in order to succeed in typical settings. And third, we have compensatory. This involves naman teaching special skills or use of devices that enable successful functioning. It also involves teaching a substitute skill that enables a person to perform a task in spite of disability. Designed rin ito to give PWDs an asset that non-disabled people don't really need. This asset na na-mention natin can either be a device or a special training. So ano naman ang role natin as teachers in inclusive classrooms? So pag sinabi natin inclusive classrooms, ito yung mga may kasamang exceptional students. First is to identify learners with exceptionalities and adapt instruction for them. Sabi nga natin, we are moving from a teacher-centered learning experience to student-centered or learner-centered learning experience. Kumbaga, we have to focus and we have to cater to the needs of the students. Paano ba natin sila mas matutulungan? Paano natin sila mas magagabayan para ma-enhance yung kanilang respective skills and abilities? Pangalawa, describe and document learning problems and strategies that are tried in the process of identification. Third, provide additional instructional support, modify homework assignments and reading materials, and help students acquire learning strategies. And fourth, promote social acceptance for SPED students through modeling, practice, and feedback. Moreover, effective instruction for PWD students uses characteristics of instruction that is effective para sa lahat ng estudyante. And now we move on to the second part of our discussion, which is the referral process naman. This involves process gathering and analyzing information systematically and objectively to plan for the student's social, academic, and career development. Itong referral process na to is not part of the evaluation that actually determines kung mayroong disability ang isang bata. Its purpose is to provide timely and effective support to initiate an appropriate plan of action para sa mga students at various levels of need. It also involves step-by-step guidelines and procedures of identifying, responding, and protecting children from any form of abuse, and ensures access to different programs and services for their optimum development. Meron din tayong tinatawag na pre-referral process. Ito naman ay isang preventive measure that can help eliminate inappropriate referrals to special education. Baka naman kasi rin-refer siya for SPED, hindi naman pala applicable. Okay? It also reduces the number of referrals and helps avoid labeling the student. It is also used to develop effective strategies to improve academic and behavior outcomes for students, thus helping them become more successful. Ito ay nagko-consist of a consultative approach, collaborative approach, and linear approach. So when we say consultative approach, pre-referral team members make suggestions based sa kanilang area of expertise regarding sa educational procedures and practices that teachers can implement within the general education classroom. Now for collaborative approach naman. Members of the pre-referral team, so kasama na dito yung mga parents and other teachers, ay nag-assist naman sa mga classroom teachers with instructional support. And for linear approach, pre-referral team members implement the stages of the process sequentially. So halimbawa, gathering info, implementing intervention, and evaluating intervention. Magkakasunod yang gagawin. So what are the benefits of this pre-referral process? Una, it provides a forum for teachers and other team members, kasama na dito yung mga parents, to discuss how to meet students' needs. Pangalawa, it empowers general education teachers with a variety of strategies to better serve diverse learners. Pangatlo, it prevents over-representation of students from a particular group in special education. And pang-apat, it improves communication between parents and school by involving families in the process. Halimbawa, the parents offer information, participate in intervention development, or kaya naman they become members of the team na din. Itong pre-referral process na ito has 6 stages. First is the initial concern regarding a student's progress. So dito, merong concern raised regarding a student's academic or behavioral performance. Pwede itong gawin formally or informally. This will prompt the next step, which is information gathering naman. So dito, kailangan makakuha ng important information such as the following: instructional methods or strategies and materials that have been previously tried or used, student skill level, students' background knowledge and experience, school and home expectations for behavior and academic performance, and classroom behavior management techniques. This information may be requested from family members and other classroom teachers, or kaya naman kinukuha nila mula sa student portfolios or work samples. Third step is the information sharing and team discussion. Dito naman din discuss among the pre-referral team kung ano-ano yung information na nag-gather nila in the previous step. In addition to this, pinag-uusapan din dito yung specific concerns that prompted the referral, student strengths, talents, and interest, student skills versus those of his or her peers, setting or situation in which the concern is developed or observed, previously attempted strategies or interventions, and the best times to observe student to see behavior of concern. The next step is the discussion of possible strategies. Ano pa kaya yung mga strategies na hindi pa nasusubukan and may possibly help the child? Maaari ding mag-identify ang pre-referral team ng appropriate accommodations to address specific needs of students. This may entail recommendations for classroom environment, classroom management, instructional procedures, and task demands. Fifth step is the implementation and monitoring of strategies. So kapag nakapag-decide na sa strategies na gagamitin, the plan is now implemented and the student's progress is now monitored. This is often the classroom teacher's responsibility. Pero ang other team members naman ay pwedeng mag-serve as support. And for our last step, we have the evaluation and decision making. So now the pre-referral team reconvenes to review collected data and to determine whether the student has made any progress. Indicators of success may include positive change in students' behavior and improvement of students' academic performance. If nag-succeed, the team then decides whether or not to continue the intervention. If hindi naman, the team determines kung anong strategies ba yung kailangan i-continue or kailangan i-modify at kung may bagong strategy ba na dapat i-introduce in order to address the problem or kaya naman, kailangan na bang i-refer si student for SPED. Now, pag-usapan naman natin ang overview ng referral process, which was adapted from Missouri Comprehensive Guidance Program Responsive Services. So, referral is made to the professional school counselor when a concern for a student arises. Possible sources of referrals may include self-referral by students experiencing a problem, yung mga concerned peers, parents or guardians, teachers, or kaya other school personnel. Outside referral may be necessary when an issue presented is beyond the scope, training, and or expertise ng school district personnel. We have 5 steps in the referral process. So first, may concern regarding the student na nag-arise. Second, the student is then referred to the school guidance counselor and the concern is identified sa referral forms. Third, the school counselor then uses objective and subjective data to assess the situation and determine the level and type of measure na kailangang i-take on the student's behalf. Fourth, interventions are implemented and students' progress is now monitored. Ang response to the intervention will be reassessed and intervention plan will be modified kung kinakailangan. And the last step is follow up with the referring individual. At dito nagtatapos ang ating Module 7 for the EDUC201 subject. Thank you very much for watching and see you on our next video.